Age of addiction. Alright, lock in.
Addictions have always been a thing in this world, and it's inevitable people get them. Each generation has had a...
Okay, don't mean to pause it, but like, what do you mean when you say addictions are inevitable? Because like waking up and drinking water and then going to school, going to work could be counted as addiction. Like you're addicted to waking up and consistently drinking water, but it's also healthy. Are we classifying all addictions as unhealthy, or are we going to discuss like some addictions are healthy and some addictions are not healthy?
different set of ones affect them more compared to the next. Boomers were more addicted to cigarettes and alcohol, being the victim of the tobacco industry and having them pay off doctors to say things like this.
I've always found that like very unsettling and unsettling and uneasy that the biggest consumer brand, not the biggest, but one of the biggest consumer brands being tobacco, selling to people, and then doctors knowing that they get lung cancer and also advertising that they get lung cancer, yet the government never stepped in to essentially stop people from selling tobacco. And it's just one of those things where you can't stop people from doing things. You can't force people to stop doing things, even if it betters their health, because that's like essentially taking away their freedom. But at the same time, the amount of money and funds that tobacco probably provided the government probably outweighed the people getting cancer in their eyes, which is kind of crazy to think about, that as long as the government's making enough money to make the rest of the world run, people getting cancer and dying isn't really worth the cause. Like there's like a scale of which one's more of worth, and clearly the government chose the wealth and the prosperity of the entire world versus. And that's the funny thing, even if the government took down tobacco and we lost that money, would that be enough to like change the entire like Earth's like economy? I don't think so, but I don't know.
You know, this night work's kind of rough, isn't it? That's right. But a camel's always a pleasure.
Yes, folks, the pleasing mildness of a camel is just as enjoyable to a doctor as it is to you or me.
Now, I've never actually like watched old like commercials, but I don't know, like I feel like maybe it's because we're so used to like waking up with like colors and like active engagement. But like if I grew up like and I was like going to like a 9 to 5, and like the first thing I put on the telly is that an old man and a doctor talking about cigarettes, I just in like static, in like black and white static, I think I'd be pretty mad. Like that wouldn't convince me to try. If anything, that would convince me not to try tobacco and like steer away from it. But then again, if you're like a person that's like lived that entire life, you'd find it appeasing.
Hey, it's all good. They made it for that stress by beating their millennial children for asking them to get a toy. Millennials and Gen X are more addicted to alcohol and prescription drugs. And
that's why at what point is addiction, like at what point do we start calling addiction, and what point is it still enjoyment? Because I know a bunch of people that when they go out to parties, when they go out for like with their mates, their friends, they drink, but they don't drink out of the pure choice of wanting to be addicted, but rather because the environment allows for it. Now if you're someone that goes home and then watches like movies and then just drinks, or whatever you're doing that doesn't require you to think also requires you to drink, sure, we can class that as an addiction. But at what point does it go from like a just something that happens due to the environment allowing it to an addiction, like a hard-based addiction?
also posting the most cringe content you'll ever see on TikTok. I guess that's what happens when you were the victim of the generation that would beat you just because. You know what? If they're having fun on their side of the internet, I'm happy for them. And of course we end up with the dump of all that, which is Gen Z. But I think we're kind of different, because before you had to do a little more searching in the past generations to get that addiction. Like have the money to buy a cigarette or alcohol. But now, because of the digital age, it's made it almost impossible for Gen Z to not have an addiction. The amount of people in Gen Z who just have an addiction casually and we act like it's normal is kind of insane. We were the first test group of the internet's effect on a younger generation, and now that everyone's on the internet 24/7, like 90% of people have an addiction because of the internet. So I want to talk about
And then again, like if we're talking about the internet being an addiction, what addiction would it be? Because I could wake up, go about my day, and then before I take a bus to wherever I'm going, I could just pop on my phone and scroll through TikTok. But I'm not scrolling through TikTok because I'm addicted to it. I'm scrolling through it because I have the availability to scroll through it. If for whatever reason someday TikTok got deleted, I'd probably be upset, because TikTok's a whole community of people, and it's like news. Like it's not the same as news, but it can be seen as news. Like you'd miss out on so much like key content that for the first few days I'd be upset, but after that I'd be pretty fine. Like an addiction is something that if it goes away, you'd have like withdrawal symptoms that go crazy. Like if my TikTok got deleted, I would not be like screaming and jumping around like a baboon. Like I just wouldn't. However, you know, if someone that maybe doesn't have any friends and isn't that popular in like maybe college, school, work, and all they have is like their internet, that's not an addiction towards internet. That's an addiction towards attention from people, and they're getting that attention through the internet. It's a catalyst, not a cause.
All the ones that are getting pushed and more amplified with us, I would say. And we could start off with food. Okay, food didn't start with us, and Gen Z isn't even the fattest generation, but because of online ads and social media ads, it's very easy to push. We haven't even paid attention to the thought of how many food delivery apps we have. Bro, growing up, I remember the most you could deliver to your house was a pizza. It would be late night, and if you were craving something and didn't want to drive to an actual physical location, your ass had to order some Domino's or Papa John's. I know it had to suck working at one of those places back then, though, because the amount of prank calls that would go viral on YouTube of people just trolling them was astronomical. Like this channel Ownage Pranks used to go A1 back in the day. Bro would spout the most stereotypical racist accent to a worker and ruin their day. And you don't even need the delivery apps anymore. If you just download the fast food apps, they get it delivered for you.
In the box. Pizza in box. Pizza box. Yo, hello? This is Mandy. Hello, Mandy. How can I help you? This is Papa John's. What order can I supply with you? I just want one B pizza, and I want another B pizza, and then I want a C pizza. Can you do that for me? Is that right, Amanda? You'd like a C pizza? Ah! I made you say BBC. Bling. Goes back to fucking pizza inbox. Yeah, no, I'd hate that. Genuinely, I'd hate that.
You know, you got your Chick-fil-A's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Food, Chipotle. Wait, what? Yeah.
What?
Believe it or not, that was a real delivery service app until it got taken down. I wonder how such a
Nigga
family-friendly thing could violate Apple's terms of service. And if you download one of these food apps, you could save like half your costs by using them. They make it easier than ever to
Oh yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Like, it is actually ridiculous just how much food you could buy with the food app. For example, I think right now, I don't know, on Domino's, or is it not even Papa John's, it's maybe McDonald's. They just have so many if you search up online for like McDonald's or like KFC or like Domino's discounts, you'll find like up to 25-50%. If you have like anyone that has their like student ID or something, you can use your uni days or like student beans to like get even like more discounts. So like you could buy like an 18-inch pizza from like Farmhouse with like 2 toppings of like chicken tikka and pepperoni beef, and you could also buy like 2 500-milliliter bottles of Pepsi, and then a box of wedges with 3 to 6 garlic sauce ranch cups, and then you could get that for like what, £15? In theory, of course. I haven't done any of this. In theory, you could.
to get big backed, because they'll give you the best deals ever that for some reason they don't offer if you don't order on the app. And quarantine at my biggest back is I was trapping off that McDonald's app getting a free large fry with a $1 purchase. You got with 2 million McDonald's points who order basically every day for the past 4 years. At that
I've always wondered, like, if anyone works at McDonald's, can you tell me, like, if I worked at, like, a drive-thru at McDonald's and I had people coming in with their car, wouldn't I just, like, put my own account onto their, like, in the login and then use their cash to essentially order the food for them, but also give myself points so that I never have to pay for anything in McDonald's? Is that illegal? Is that a thing that's allowed? Because I feel like that's overpowered. Like, if you have, like, what, let's say 50 people a day, and that's underestimating how many people just drive through a daily basis, and they order like something equivalent to like 100 points. That's like 1,000 to 10,000 points in a singular day, and you could essentially, that's what, in a month's time, that's like 100,000 points, and you never have to actually pay for McDonald's again. unless like I'm missing something.
At what point do you get to meet Ronald McDonald or something? Because that has to deserve some type of reward. TikTok got to be the biggest influence for food nowadays, though. Because how many times have you seen a food spot on TikTok and it's near you? And you think to yourself, well, damn, now I gotta try it to see what the hype is. With traveling nowadays, everyone's go-to when looking for food is going to TikTok to see what the people are saying is the best. I always think how insane Keith Lee's come up was, and it shows how big-backed we really are. Because he quite literally will go to a food spot, give a review, and all it takes is a, God damn, that's good. And the whole restaurant is fully booked up for the rest of the year.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, if I see a fellow brother and he's eating food on camera and he's making faces, he's audibly moaning to food, that must mean the food is so, either one, the food is so good that he just can't control himself, or two, he's a batty man. Now, I'm going to take a good guess and assume that Keith Lee is a straight male. So I only have to, like, it's the curious cat in me that has to find out, why is this man moaning to food? And when I buy the food, and if it's delicious, I'm gonna trust him since that day. Like, the moment I try food that he's recommended and it hits, I'm always gonna try it. And then if I try it and people see I'm trying it, they're gonna try it. And then people, it's like a chain reaction, you know? I wouldn't say that's an addiction. That's like an understanding of comprehension.
That's not a diss either, by the way. You know what I'm saying? We F with Keith Lee over here. And then you got those mukbang videos that became popular where they're eating gargantuan masses of food. I learned that some people watch these because they want to feel like they're literally eating the food. But
first of all, that's sad. Like, if you're so addicted to food that watching people eat food is essentially enough to fill you up, that's like, I feel like that's like mental something in the mental that's not working. But that's not what I was trying to say. Like apparently, like a few, I remember there's this one big mukbang creator. Was she? I think she was she was a China. Was it China lady? Asian lady? I don't know. But somewhere around the, like Asia or China region, she'd like have like massive. And I'm not talking about like the last. I'm talking about genuinely rolls of duck, chicken, fries, bread, and then covered in like a disgusting amount of sauce. And she'd eat this all, and apparently it was found that after eating it, after the videos, she'd either one, vomit it all out, or two, she wasn't actually eating, she just spit it out, and then cut the whole spitting out part. And it would trick people into engaging with that, saying, oh my god, how can this little person stay so thin and eat so much? Which would then arguably push other people to be like, okay, if she can eat food so much, I can probably eat just a bit more and be fine, which would be lying. Like, it's like, that's essentially like, okay, now you're being lied to, and then you're intake of food, and you'd probably tell yourself, I'm not getting anything. Like, if you eat just a bit more than you normally do because you see someone else eating a bunch, you'd be like, oh, I'm not getting that much weight, you know? So it's like, it tricks you mentally, and then that, I could see how people could like find that as an addiction. Sure.
Their stomach can't take it, so they watch someone else do it. I don't know what the is wrong with them. I just get sick and want to yak out a car window after looking at these. If you eating like this, you dead ass abusing your stomach wall lining. Next, we got vaping. For all the people who watch me and vape, I just want to let you know you're bigger than the vape. So do me a favor and put it down for your health now and your future. And pick up a cigarette like a real. I always find it so insane that our generation was bombarded with PSAs about smoking and the harmful effects of it. Everyone ended up thinking we wouldn't be affected by it as much and be a much more healthy generation, until they released flavors with the name Mango Cherry Freeze and Fortnite carts that no one knows the origin of to change minds instantly. I knew our generation was going to be the most addicted to it when I would walk in the school bathroom and casually see two in a stall with clouds of smoke coming out.
I really feel like vaping could have been like stopped or minimized if people just learned. No, if the government stopped letting vape companies create vapes catered to like kids, bright colors, neon names, and like fancy flavors, it would attract the attention of kids much less. But you know, obviously, again, it's like the whole tobacco thing. They want that income of cash, you know, and then also from them getting sick and injured and cancer, also the income of cash of them paying, you know, fees to the doctors and all that stuff. So like, at the end of the day, it's just blame the government. That's the solution to life. Blame the government, you'll actually be fine.
And you'd have some dude on lookout paying attention to the sound of the jingling of keys to tell if a staff member was around or not. Then they start fumbling around and waving the smoke around to try to hide it. I didn't even know how bad it was at first though, until I found out what kids in elementary school are doing it.
Oh yeah, I remember in school when it all started. Like, so it was like a slow start. Like, you see like one or two people doing it, and you're like, damn, that's crazy. And over the course of like a year or two, I remember just coming to a singular like toilet, and every single toilet cubicle was hotbox. So for those of you who don't know what a hotbox is, it's when you essentially cut all flows of income of air and outcome of air, and you just puff and smoke, and the entire place is filled with it. So when you essentially breathe in, you're essentially just breathing in the resuscitated vape. And I just remember all 4 cubicles were like stuffed, like, because there were gaps in the top and the bottom. So, like, you could see them stuffed like in the clothes, like bags. And I was just like, this is crazy. And the teachers couldn't do much. Like, sure, they can tell them get out there. They get out, they get told off, and then their parents get like called. But the problem was their parents also vaped. So essentially, it was just like the parents didn't get it. The parents would maybe tell them to stop doing it in school, but that's as far as they go. And then these cocky little fuckers, they're like, as the moment school ended, they'd exit the gates, they'd look to the teachers and just whip it out and start puffing it, because the teachers don't have any more jurisdiction outside of school. Like, honestly, if I was the teachers, I'd have like beat the shit out of them. But of course, jobs and that.
It too. As a kid in elementary school, where the f are you getting the money to even afford that? Are you selling your rare Fortnite?
It has to be from their parents, surely. Either stealing from their parents buying them, or finding them through a different adult
skins or something than ordering them on eBay. According to statistics, 3.5% of middle schoolers in America vape as well. Low-key, we gotta bring back those scary anti-smoking ads. Because I remember when I was a kid being terrified of the thought of smoking. They would show the diagram of a healthy lung versus...
Yeah, but I don't know if that's going to, affect the same way as like kids growing up, especially watching other people and adults and their parents vape. They're not going to really care, because they'll tell themselves, that's not going to happen to me. Until it happens to them, they'll think they're fine. And like people haven't done enough research. We know vaping is bad, but we haven't done enough research to find out, is it worse than cigarette, and if it's what it could cause in the future. Because like the whole point of vaping when it first came out was to essentially give people that smoked cigarettes a way to quit. And the thing is, like, when that was proposed, it was like they'd give them a colorless black or white vape tube, a pen, and then as like time goes on, they decrease the percentage of nicotine, the thing that gets addicted, and over time they'd hopefully stop getting addicted. But that's not the case with current lifestyle vapes, of course. So like, yeah.
Smoker lung, and I would have nightmares for the rest of the week. And no, you can't quit at any time. If you're somebody that has to sit there and reason with your friends like you're making a deal on Wall Street that you can, then let me introduce you to the last stage of grief: acceptance. It's okay to accept the fact that the rest of your friends are gonna live amazing, willing, full lives until 80, 90, or 100. And at 40, you're gonna drop randomly in your kitchen after those mango cherry freeze chemicals reach your heart. And weed smokers, where y'all going? Cause y'all ain't safe from this either. In general, I think out of a weed smoker and vape smoker, the weed smoker is usually more healthy, mainly because the product doesn't have mysterious chemicals imported from a factory in Beijing.
Oh yeah, that's true. If you've never sat down to read a vape box, you need to. Like, genuinely, it's one of the insane, like, I'm pretty sure I'm putting it somewhere on the screen, but some of the ingredients are actually like mind-boggling. It's like they're putting this and the thing that you actively like, because it's like essentially it's a liquid. Don't forget it's a liquid, and then at the end, I think it's because of the heat or like the spray or something, gets turned into a vapor, hence the name vape. So there's just this liquid, and anything could be in this liquid, and you're just chugging it like it's like heaven.
Nowadays, though, they be lacing the hell out of that weed, so I don't even know about that anymore. You could be picking up what you think is some regular Zaw from your local dealer, and it ends up being laced with fent, raccoon, and peat. The most annoying thing about weed smokers is they do the same thing as vape smokers, saying they can quit at any time, but they'll also argue with you, saying it makes them more productive, and they'll bring up successful people that do it as an example, like, I don't know, Snoop Dogg or Wiz Khalifa. The person...
How is Snoop Dogg not dead, though? Like, no, like, realistically, like, that man, for my entire existence of knowing who and what Snoop Dogg is, associated him with, like, smoking. Like, that's all I've ever known him, and that nigga's still alive. He's beaten. His heart's beating fine, I'm pretty sure. So how is he alive? And that's the thing, like, if people see Snoop Dogg, like an industry musician, just thugging it out, being fine, they're gonna tell themselves, I'm gonna be like Snoop Dogg. So,
Saying it though, 99% of the time is never productive. Like, you ask them what they did through the week, and it's take a shower once, rage on Valorant, goon to some...
Whoa. I don't know why. You see, Tommy, look at me, Tommy. I don't know why we're dissing on Valorant, but that's my game. If you have a problem with me, message me, DM me, we can sort it out 1v1 me through Valorant, but never ever diss me in such a disrespectful way, okay?
Sophie Rain, then smoke 7 times.
Porn addiction is bad, I'll tell you that much. Like, watching porn versus a porn addicted child, it's an insane take. I wonder if he's going to talk about it in this video, though.
If you're not one of those productive people using it, then you can't say it. And you'll also never be as productive as someone sober in that time. It's so bad, you got who will work the whole week, then half of their paycheck is going to some rolling papers and that.
That is also insane. One of my friends, I remember we were doing like a little calculation because of course the person they buy their stuff off essentially only takes in cash, so he has to then take out cash from his account bank and then give it to him. So we were sat there, and I think in 1 month he went through about 100 to 150 pounds just purely on vape juice, vodka, and like buying stuff from his dealer. And I'm just like 100, like it doesn't sound crazy, but 150 pounds times 10 for like 10 months, that's like what, 1,500 pounds a year, in a year by the way, gone just to addiction and like self-harm. And that's like on the lower end of people. I know people that like buy like a 6K, so like apparently, so if you don't know what a 6K is, when you take a vape, it's called a puff. So 6K essentially means 6,000 puffs. And I know people that go through that in like a day, if not half a day. So to put that into perspective, if you go through a 6K in like a day, maybe let's be kind of a week, you need to get 6K, maths. You need to get 4 6Ks, which could cost upwards of like, who knows, I don't know, even more than 150 pounds. That's not only, you're not only wasting a disgusting amount of money, but also you're damaging your own health. And it's like crazy, like you're so bored and you're so unathletic and so just lazy that you're willing to like spend all this spare time using your money that you made to buy vapes. You know, you could buy anything else and you choose to buy vapes. That's the scary part about like active vapors.
I think the reason why the rise of addictions and smoking weed is because it's so easy to access nowadays.
Oh yeah, 100%. I remember back when I was a kid, and like the only people that I know of like under 18 who were able to do this were either kids that like looked well above their age, or a beard at 15, you know, mustache, or like people that were like super tall. I have a friend that's like 6'7", and he was like, what, he's 16, maybe 17, like unironically, no joke, no pun intended. And people just believe him without even age checking. And then fake IDs as well. So back then it was that like you had to really lock in, but now I have like, my little brother who's like 13 could probably pop into like the little corner shop, give him the money, and then just give him the vape, and he'd just be fine. That's how like easy it's become.
A whole app's meant to deliver.
Or like you walk past the shop, you grab a random adult, by the way, and they ask him, hey, can you buy me this, I'll give you like £5 extra, and they'll gladly do it. Like if that was me, I would take the money and go away, because the kid can't sue me if anything, actually. But you know, they're, for some reason, out of the goodness of their heart, they're like, yeah, let me buy this kid like a 2-liter pound of vodka.
Strings to people. And you can go on Snapchat and casually see 10 dealers in a 1-mile radius. Back then, people were scared of getting caught, especially when the internet wasn't a thing. Plus, it was a lot more penalized, so people didn't take the risk. Next, we got gooning. I already made a whole video on this.
No, so he's talking about it.
So we don't gotta spend a lot of time on this. But the algorithms nowadays, more than ever, are meant to fuel horniness. Like
I don't know. I feel like this is very case to case dependent. If you're someone like, again, like these people that they do alcohol and, you know, weed, who are addicted to it, because I feel like there's a spectrum, and like depending on where on the spectrum, it really shows. Like the people that tend to be addicted to that also tend to be addicted to gooning. Not always, but like there's a correlation, because if you're stuck at home with no friends and nothing to do outside in the real world, and you're always in your house, you're gonna have nothing else to do. You can play games, you can watch movies, but you're gonna have nothing else to do. And then when your FYP shows you one singular video on like sexualized content, you're going to obviously engage with it. And as time moves on, you're gonna get more and more addicted to it. Compared to someone that goes out actively, has friends actively, and actively talks to the opposite gender, they're not going to view the opposite gender in such a sexualized way, because they're gonna actually feel a human connection. If you, as a male, as a female, mostly males in this case, if you never had a girlfriend or never had female friends, you're obviously going to view women much more objectively rather than someone who's had female friends and has connections with them, because like they understand that these guys are similar to me and they're the same as me and they're my friends. Whereas someone who's never interacted with them would be like, oh my god, these creatures have never interacted with them, oh my god. And it's like, so it's going to be natural that they gravitate towards, you know, seeing them as more sexualized, because that's the only time they interact with them online. Because we know that we're looking at an online screen, but our brain still processes information as like, oh, that's a person. That's why when you watch movies or shows, you get connected with the characters, because yes, we understand that it's a movie. We understand that it's like actors, but our brain sees people that we know their story of, we know their struggles, and we know their pain as if they're our friends. So when they prevail, it makes us emotional because our brain's like, oh my god, our friend made it, you know. So like back to the main point. So it's like, if you're bound and you're stuck in a position like that, obviously you're going to be, you know, your free time is going to go from. And the problem with like Goonie, like most people, it's like a 5 to 10 minute thing. So like it doesn't even take too much time out of your day on average. So half your day, between your entire day, points of it could just be spent to gooning. And the problem is, by the time you realize you're addicted, it's already too far gone. Like you have that itch that like, I need to do this now. So it's like it's a very tricky slope to walk across. It's a very tricky slope to walk across. But at the same time, most people that fall victim to it are due to the circumstances. I'm not saying that's good, but I'm just trying to explain to you and put you into the perspective as to why it's happening. Well, I don't agree with the sentence saying the FYP is it's meant for that. But the FYP and social media has therefore trained people that selling your body online can make you profit, and vice versa. Seeing people online is much easier now than ever. But I don't think FYP is tailored to you as a whole.
Have y'all ever opened your Instagram feed or TikTok feed and they're literally throwing it in your face? No matter.
It's like I said, like I could scroll through my TikTok and like the first 100 videos would have nothing to do with like gooning or porn whatsoever. Sure, maybe one video, the algorithm would try and test me, like, oh, do you want to see more of this? And depending on how I engage with it, of course, it will then feed me more and more. But most of the time, my TikTok is just like rage edits, Joe Bot edits, you know, just like stupid stuff like Jinxie, Queso, and like stuff on like the core boys or something. As like whatever's trending right now is what's going to show me. So whatever's trending in the porn industry, if you're addicted to porn, is going to be showing on your For You page.
No matter how many times I click not interested, it doesn't work. I think they have the button.
No, Tommy, you're lying. Just say you like femboys and we'll fine. Like, we're not even going to judge you. I'll judge you. We're not going to judge you. Just be honest, okay?
They're just for fun. The best platform I see optimized where I don't see it is YouTube, because my algo was built brick by brick. It still happens though, trust me. Like, somebody watching this probably got some free.
No, Tommy. It's okay to say you're a gooner, okay? Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
Freaky AI chatbot ad. But on Instagram and TikTok, they purposely don't listen to me. I just want one person to do some research on these algorithms and see if they got a horny piece of code written in there. A lot of people also talk about why were we so sexual at a young age, which is kind of true, you know, when I think about it. It's a mix of things. One being the internet, although it's not as bad as now. Like a Gen Alpha kid with unmonitored access in 2025 is probably gonna win this corn at the age of 7. Probably a mix of us looking at these Disney stars when we were kids and thinking of some freaky. The crazy thing to me was the shift of how OF stars and corn stars were perceived. Back then, I remember when a girl got leaked, it was the worst thing to happen to her life. Like,
oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Like, leaked at the age of like 14, whole life ruined. No one sees you as a human. Your reputation's gone. Parents evict you from the house. Oh my god, there's no light. Parents no longer see you as a human. Everything's gone wrong. Should I turn on the light? Nah, we'll do a dark scene today. Yeah, end of the world.
her whole sacred temple was exposed to the world, or just somebody ousted as doing that line of work. They would never want that info out. But nowadays, if you see a link tree in that bio, it's like a Russian roulette of if you'll see an OnlyFans link or not. It's just a casual thing now to see someone naked online. Never in my life growing up I would think someone I went to high school with would start one, but I'm about 0 to 3 wrong, so good thing I didn't put a bet on that. Oh, and speaking of bets, gambling is next. Parlays have by themselves ruined the financial dreams of millions of Gen Z. Because with parlays, it feels like you're not putting much up. And if you already hate your job or you're trying to make it out, you're gonna take the risk and throw in something you can lose, like $10 or $20. But that ends up adding up, and as you keep losing, you end up losing like half your week's salary over some stupid ass prediction. My
But it's fun though.
opinion is sports gambling is way more of a problem for us than traditional gambling. Like, I feel like that was the problem more back then. Although we definitely got our addicts for that too. Kick as a platform is pretty much meant as a funnel to stake where you can play slots to your heart's desire. Sports betting wouldn't even be that bad if
The only reason I don't gamble in real life is because I'm just terrible at it. If I could actually learn that, like, I've just never been good at gambling. You know, there's like arcades or like fair games that pop up when you have like a fair in your town, and they have like those like little games like the horse betting game and like the just any game that requires you to put in money and then potentially double it. I was never good at them. I always sucked at them. So me personally, growing up, I realized that my hand has never been good. So like I've just accepted the fact that I should just never gamble. Like if I at the young age of like 12 gambled like once and I got like a big payout, I'd be addicted ever since because I know that rush. But me now, I'm like, I don't have the funds. Just if I ever became rich, trust me, I would never gamble. Wink, wink. I'd never, because that's illegal and wrong. Don't gamble, especially if you don't have the money for it. If you don't have exposable income, please don't gamble. That's not, that's serious.
If everyone doing it actually had the disposable income too. But there
Exactly.
should be no reason your whole paycheck is going on a bet. And it's really hard to stop because when you do get those wins, you always think you could get one potentially with another bet. And I don't know about y'all, but I've been getting a whole lot more of sports betting app ads a lot. It makes no sense too because I live in Texas. I can't even gamble here. So why are they even pushing it here when it's banned? Like, it makes zero sense to me. It's almost like they know people can use VPNs to do it anyways. And they be giving some crazy ass bonuses just for you to join and make a single bet. Like, who wouldn't take a free $100 to bet for just a tiny risk of forever being indebted to the app and watching every single one of the 500 bets you made in the past week? Just a tiny risk though. The sports betting industry growth is so insane when you look at the chart. Just 7 years ago, it was only $209 million.
Probably because people have become more online and social media becoming access, like it's just, that's probably like the biggest reason why. But yeah, things like stake and things like Kick and F like boosted it over. Like Kick's whole platform is about gambling, so anyone that hops on Kick is essentially like gambling, want to gamble, thinking about gambling, doesn't have enough money because they lost all to gambling and watching other people gamble.
And now it's around $4 to $6 billion. If this ain't an indication of a recession, then I don't know what is. People's doing anything to get money. I guarantee there's some dads out there risking their paycheck and if their kids get to eat just to see if the bet will hit of LeBron getting over 40 points in a game. Next we got caffeine. And it's time to be open and honest, y'all.
I don't know what counts as a caffeine addiction. Like when I go into town or like when I hop off like to my gym, I'll buy a Monster. I'll say that out, bro. I'll buy a Monster. Then again, I'll buy like a white, zero sugar Monster, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm being healthy. They used to have Monster Ultra Black or Cherry Black. They discontinued it. That was my go-to. But what counts as an energy drink addiction? Like, at what point is it an addiction and it's just a form of consumption?
Probably the thing I match closest with. My excuse is though, I only take pre-workout
Exactly.
on days I work out, which is 5 days in a week. Not really a good excuse though, but trust me, I can quit anytime. I just need a little powder sprinkled in my toothpaste to get my bones jolting. Caffeine addiction is probably the easiest one to get because when you're tired in a day and need a little boost, it's one of the few legal.
I've never felt energy when drinking caffeine. I felt refreshed and renourished. Sure, I've never felt. I feel like I'm energized. If anything, I feel a bit more sleepy, depending on what I'm drinking.
Substances you can take to boost your energy. Sadly, they banned the original Coke formula, but I've heard there's ways to get around it. It also doesn't help.
For those who don't know, that was a direct reference to Coca-Cola having crack in it. Literal crack, yeah.
That on TikTok, people will post their favorite coffee recipes or
Oh, you know what, yeah. I'm not, okay, I lied. Okay, maybe I resonate with them. Because, like, if it's like 9 a.m. and I'm in college, the first thing I'm thinking of is spending like £5 for a cheeky caramel frappe with vanilla shot and extra cream, and I'm downing it. I could have those infinitely, actually. So like maybe I am addicted, but I could stop. If I really wanted to stop, I could stop buying them, of course.
They got at Starbucks. Then people run to the store to get the exact same one to see what the hype is about. Everybody all of a sudden also started drinking matcha and making matcha everything. Matcha coffees.
Matcha is disgusting. Hot take. Genuinely, it's the same as boba. I've never understood it. Hate me, unfollow me, block me, send death threats. But matcha is disgusting. And if you like matcha, you're either being performative or you're being performative.
Matcha pancakes, matcha noodles. A couple of years ago, would have seen something like this and fried you on the internet for even having it. But now all you gotta do is post a trying matcha noodles on TikTok and people will love it just because it's matcha. Where the did all this matcha talk come from though? Like, matcha is cool to me, but how did they get to the point where we're facing potential global shortages of it because everyone's having it? Also, having energy.
Because people are bored. A lot of these food addictions that pop up, people are just bored. And when in poverty, try what the rich are doing.
Drinks is more commonplace now. Like, I remember in the past, if you told someone you was drinking energy drinks, they thought you were cooked, providing for 4 different...
Oh yeah, 100%. I remember back then when people were talking about like drinking. I remember especially in Africa, like the only reason like a lot of my friends and me wouldn't try Monster because people were like, if you drink Monster, you're associated with the devil. At the time, I was a little kid, so I couldn't like argue. I couldn't think for myself. I was like, they must be right. You know that those 3 stripes, they must be something evil. But now I just feel like that was just a way for them to not me to get, you know, as I'm older now, I feel like that was just a way for them to not get me to get, you know, caffeine in my body.
Families on a 1-man salary while getting 4 hours of sleep. Every company now, for some reason, has their own line of energy drinks. Like, who is that?
And there's so many energy drinks that try and like that taste exactly the same as other drinks, but like they don't have the marketing. So people like I remember a few weeks, like literally last week actually, I was gonna get a Monster, but they were run out. So I was like, I might as well try Red Bull. I don't like Red Bulls, but I don't hate them. But there weren't any Red Bull flavors I wanted. So I looked to the left. I look a little bit to the left and I see Cherry Bombastic Pink Rhino, which is, you know, a direct reference to like Red Bull. And like some of these, like, they're so close to the actual brand name to try and get you to buy them. It's like sad to the point where like you might as well make your own name for yourself again, which you could argue like, oh no, Monster, Red Bull, Energy Core, like the big names are never going to be taken off, but sure, but like at least strive to be your own brand, you know, because like just stop deriding, bro.
Ass drinking the Toxic Waste energy drink and the Sonic the Hedgehog energy drink. Actually, that last one might not be too bad. Might just have me a grab it. I think caffeine addiction is also rising too because a lot more people are sleep deprived nowadays. It's a blessing for real if you can get 8 full hours of sleep in this time. So when people are tired, they say.
But the problem that's due to social media. Like I could go to I hit bed at like what 10 p.m. but then scroll for like an extra hour or two because like some might say FOMO, some might say missing out. I'm just like falling asleep and I'm just trying to see what people are on about, you know. So in a way, I guess you could say FOMO, fear of missing out, you know. Well, like, but then again, what are you gonna pick up in the next 2 hours that you can't pick up when you wake up? But a lot of sleep. Ain't that interesting? Anyway, a lot of sleep issues just come from the fact that you're slow on your phone before you need to actually sleep. That's my take.
Why not? Let me just get 1 energy drink for the day. There is a very big risk with it though, and we can't forget. Energy drinks have only been getting used a lot more in the past 2 decades, so we still don't have long-term studies on their effects. And there's even tragic cases about it, like the case of Katie Donnell. Katie Donnell was a 28-year-old teacher and fitness enthusiast, and she always tried to live a healthy lifestyle and had a lot of caffeine through the day as one of the things. She would have 3 energy drinks a day and a caffeine supplement on top.
And the worst part is, that's like bare minimum nowadays. I know people that will chug 4 to 5 Monsters. Me being one of them.
Of that before going to the gym. And by the way, the recommended max amount.
And I think like there's probably like a problem with her chugging 3 Red Bulls and then actively going to the gym. Like your heart palpitation, like whoa, your heart rate just skyrockets at that point. But unless you died some other way, then you know that's fine.
The amount of caffeine you're supposed to have in a day is 400 milligrams. Depending on how much caffeine those drinks had, she could have been having like 2x or 3x the daily limit. But even if they were smaller amounts, I think we can all agree that just the sound of having 3 energy drinks a day is insane. And in 2021, Katie had a heart attack and had to be put in the hospital, where 10 days later, she sadly passed away from the effects of it. So
rest in peace.
if you're near having 3 drinks a day, it might be time to reconsider how many you're having. The best schedule for people that do want to have caffeine is 5 days a week with at least 2 days off it. The more you have it, the more tolerant you get to it. So it's always better to have a little reset just so the effects still hit.
Which is like, if you're drinking caffeine purely for the energy, you can make an argument like that's an addiction. But if you're drinking caffeine because I like the taste of Monster. I'm gonna say that now. I really enjoy the taste of Monster. Black cherry my best. The white 0 sugar supplement. But I've never once been like, I need energy, let me pop a Monster. But if that's you, then clearly there's an addiction.
Also a problem too that kids are now starting to have energy drinks. When Prime released its energy drink,
Prime was just the entire, especially in the UK, over here in the UK, Prime coming over was just horrible. Like, you don't understand the amount of scamming, backstabbing, inflation of the market that it caused, and now you can find one in every shop. It's actually insane.
There was parents complaining that their kids were having them and it was causing problems. I don't know what type of stress these is even going through to be having energy drinks. I only started drinking them after having some adult type responsibilities. Before 18, I wasn't having them. And once again, parents strike again at not monitoring their kids, because how do they even get access to these energy drinks? Since I said I only have them when I work out, we might as well throw gym in there as an addiction.
Is it an addiction? Like, excessive amount of gym. Like, okay, excessive amount of gym. The only reason you want an excessive amount of gym is because you're trying to change something that you hate about yourself. Other than the outside of that aspect and that ratio, gym is healthy. Gym is as healthy as it gets.
Some of y'all might think it's odd that gym is here, but if you see how fitness social media is now, you know how.
And of course, like the taking of testosterone and stuff like that, then I can understand the argument that, you know, gym is an addiction.
How bad it can get. There's been a lot more of a rise in gym influencers since 2020. I'm glad the gym is becoming way more popular though, because in general it's good for everyone's health. But the lengths some people take to look like some of the influencers online is,
which is never healthy, because 90% of the influencers on the gym you see are on something, on a cycle, or testosterone, you know. And you're also not taking into consideration that these people more often are actively measuring every part of their body, not every part of their day, to account for their gym. So they count their calories, they weigh their calories, they calculate their calories, they meal prep. They do all these things because most of their life revolves around gymming and, you know, being an influencer on the gym. So you can't physically even if you were to hop on testosterone, genetically, that's the major one. If your genetics do not allow you to become as big as some people, no matter how much testosterone you pump into your body, you're not going to become as big as them or as strong as them. You're going to become a lot stronger than the average person, depending on your genetics, but you're never going to reach the top of the top without the top of the top genetics and hard work. And furthermore, your diet, if it doesn't match theirs, or if not is better than theirs, you're never going to be able to match them, you know.
Unbelievable. It's universally known now that a lot of influencers online straight up use performance enhancing drugs to look the best. One of the biggest known cases I would say is The Rock. Everyone knows for his physique at his age, it's almost impossible for him.
How old is The Rock? I thought The Rock was like rocking, you know. I thought The Rock was like 30, maybe 40. Maybe 40. How old is The Rock? Oh my god, he's 54. Yeah, no, he's on some type of drugs. There's no way he's 54 looking this hinged, bro. I don't believe it. Him
to look like this without taking some type of performance enhancing drug. He always denies it and says he doesn't use them, which no one believes. Because when your job is to look the best, a lot of these influencers and celebs feel like they have no choice but to take them to keep up with everyone. And people in the gym community point out all the time who may be fake or real. One of the biggest gym influencers on YouTube's job is literally predicting from years of experience what influencer or celeb transformation is real or fake. But even if the influencers doing it are natural, it's never good to compare yourself, because their entire job is meant to look good. Like, they could spend hours at a time in the gym every day to look like that. Meanwhile, the average person usually gets out of school or work and can have 1 or 2 hours max. Yep. And it leads to people thinking they have to take the same drugs those influencers are taking. Nowadays, there's people who will show their journey through taking steroids or testosterone casually. I guess it's kind of good they're being honest, but like, can you imagine people did this for any other drug? Imagine a meth addict showing their journey of taking it through the years. And the people taking these drugs are getting younger and younger because they look up to these guys, ruining their whole body before it even got time to fully develop. It's okay to accept the fact that you probably won't reach their level, and if you do, it'll just take you significantly longer, which is fine. Like, bro, you got decades of your life to reach that type of build if you want to. You don't gotta rush it when you're young. And the reality is, you probably won't even want to keep up with that type of physique because it'll be too much work. The last category we got, which 90% of my audience will relate to, is unemployment.
You see, your boy over here is employed, and I'm hoping to stay that way, and I'm hoping that this whole like influencer thing gets me employed in this, and I can never have to. Oh, I hate working. I used to work at pubs. Anyway.
unemployment is the new cool lifestyle that everyone's getting into.
I wouldn't say it's cool though. It depends. Like if you're unemployed under your family's house and then they pay for all your things, then yeah, it can be fun. But if you're constantly having to beg for money and you see all your friends driving, buying food, buying what they want, you're gonna feel the hit, bro. You're gonna feel the hit real bad.
34.
34? Okay, what do you do?
I mean, think of it. You can nibble off of someone else's work for free while laying down on a couch and watching your favorite TV show. Society's become so cooked that anyone who quits their job or anyone who's applied to more than 5 and got denied just give up and decide to live that lifestyle. You even
But getting rejected from like 5 jobs does suck though. I remember I applied one time. I was logged in on Indeed, and I remember in one day I got in, what was it, 20 applications, and after a week I got rejected by all 20. It made me not want to have a job ever.
mention the word
And then the problem is, like, if you get a job because you're desperate and you hate that job, you're gonna quit after like 6 months every single time.
job to certain and they start quivering in fear for their life. You know what? I'm feeling pretty evil today. Let's go ahead and go on a TOS run to get me packed out of here real quick. And I do want to put a disclaimer. What you're about to hear may be disturbing. Job. Employment. Working.
This don't work on me no more. If you said these words like 6 months ago, I'd feel racially slurred. I'd be breaking down in tears. But now, I'm
Career.
better than the average joblesser.
Business. Profession. Operation. I feel free being able to say what I want. I feel like the world is in the palm of my hand. For some reason, even though it feels like no one is getting a job now, we're actually reaching low levels of employment, well, at least compared to 2020. Moment
Unemployment. You made a mistake there, Tommy.
of silence for all my who were looking for a job during COVID. Glad that wasn't me, because God knows where I would be right now. The thing that's doomed Gen Z is as soon as finally started to get their degrees and get ready for the real world, AI had to advance at levels we never thought possible. I might have to make a video on just this alone. Man, we all thought AI would take jobs like fast food and have robots flipping burgers, but that's it. Now you got AI that can code entire websites for free. You got AI that automatically run YouTube channels and generate them unlimited money. And for us, it was a big rush of people getting STEM degrees because everyone was saying that was the speed run to get a 6-figure job.
As someone that partakes in software development, a dying wink, like, I wouldn't care. Dying is a bit much, but it can be scary, especially if you're going into tech purely because AI is taking over, then you're never going to actually make it. Like, you could with hard work and consistency, sure, but if your whole sole reason is because AI, yeah, it's not gonna be looking rough for you, but you're gonna hate it. I hate it, and I enjoy it. I hate it. That's his perspective. But if you really want to come in and just purely do it for the money, you have to get into a position where you're managing what AI does. You can't fight against AI. We've gotten to the point where AI is so ingrained into our culture right now. You can't fight against it, but rather become one making AI work for you. So the big one that everyone goes for is cybersecurity. There we go, my bad. Because the more AI advances, the more people are going to want security for their cyber. Little fun there. But if you're someone that works watching over and fixing AI when they make mistakes and stuff, you're always going to have a job. It's never going to be out. You're never going to have no job, because the more AI comes about, the more they're going to need people to watch over AI, because AI is going to take the jobs that are repetitive, but the jobs that AI still can't take are jobs where they have to examine themselves, because you're not going to trust an AI to watch over AIs. That creates a whole problem. But that's my one advice to you people who really want to make money through AI.
Great to know that all those degrees are completely useless now that those jobs are taken by AI.
And again, I wouldn't say all jobs. Like a small startup company needing to start, sure, they could use AI, but the problem with AI right now, and it's probably going to change in a few years, but the problem with AI right now is if you give it a prompt, unless it's as detailed as there's no minute details and errors, and even then AI can't imagine. It's not creative. It can't innovate what you think, the way you want it specifically. So you can tell an AI to do this and that, and it makes it, but it doesn't do it in the way you wanted it. And also at the same time, you're essentially limiting yourself, because if you don't do that part, you're not going to be able to at least understand. If you have a base understanding of how to create a website, for example, you're going to be then able to ask AI to make a code or help you the code and then adjust that code. But if you have no base knowledge and you ask AI to do it, you're going to because we're going through this the other day, not to get into a rant, but we asked AI to make us websites, and they all weren't bad. For example, like Figma or Canva. Like those are good AI tools, but they all feel the same. You can just tell they were used with AI. Unless you yourself then take the time to input and adjust and, you know, turn things around and make edits in it, it's always going to feel the same AI slop, for now at least. That might change in the future. I'm not saying it won't. But if you don't have the input to change it, then it's always going to feel like AI slop.
So no wonder everyone's giving up and are embracing their unemployment. And when GTA 6 drops, mark my words, will quit the job market in that moment. Hospitals are gonna be empty from doctors and nurses trying to finish the GTA 6 storyline. So anyways, that's about it. If you don't align close to any of the things I mentioned, then congrats. Follow me on Twitter.
Oh yeah, Tom, follow my boy Tommy NFG, bro. You know, that's my GOAT. I know him since day one. We've been brothers. Yeah, he's the GOAT. Shout out to him. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. Peace.